We honestly thought we were well prepared for retirement. We'd already done many of the things people are told to do. We sold the large family home, downsized into a smaller condo, reduced our monthly expenses, built up savings, reviewed the 401k, established our Social Security income, and worked through a retirement budget.
Beth was already retired, so we weren't approaching retirement completely blind. On paper, it looked like we had a solid plan, and then my actual retirement date started getting close. My last day of work is planned for the end of December 2026. And suddenly, these weren't theoretical decisions anymore. We had to choose actual dates, actual insurance coverage, and actual income sources. That's when retirement got real. Today, we're sharing 5 things that looked much simpler from a distance. Beth already had retiree coverage through South Carolina PEBA, and I would become eligible for Medicare, and we assumed that the two would work together fairly easily. We thought healthcare was one of those areas we'd already checked off the list.
Medicare wasn't simply one enrollment decision. We had to understand Part A, Part B, prescription coverage, effective dates, how Medicare coordinates with the retiree insurance. Even some of the wording on the Medicare application was confusing. Retiree coverage is not the same as insurance from a spouse's current employment. Choosing the wrong answer could delay the application or affect the effective date. Then there were the ongoing costs. Medicare premiums, retirement plan premiums, dental and vision, prescriptions, copays and deductibles, long-term care insurance. We realized that having insurance and having affordable health care are not necessarily the same thing.
Did you think that Medicare would be this complicated?
No, I really didn't.
I had no idea that it was going to be this complicated. When I started signing up for it, it was very non-intuitive process. Let's put it like that. What worries you the most when we started reviewing the coverage?
It concerned me that the Medicare supplement that we had may not be enough. We had to do more research.
And we talked about it before we ever got to this point. So what was the value of the long-term care insurance? Why was it so important to you?
That's kind of a long story that I think is good for another video. I wanted to make sure that when we were not able to take care of ourselves, Medicare is not going to cover nursing homes and assisted living and in-home care. And I wanted to make sure that we had that covered so that we would be cared for and have insurance for that care.
And I think the main takeaway here on this part is that healthcare cannot be treated as just one number in the retirement budget.
Well, you need to know how all the pieces work together before the retirement date arrives.
So we thought that the basic advice sounded straightforward. Wait longer, receive a larger monthly benefit, and we assumed there'd be just one clear, correct answer for us. We thought the math would tell us exactly what to do. And my estimated benefit is approximately $3,105 a month at age 65 in 4 months, and $3,535 at age 67, which is full retirement age, and more than $4,300 at age 70. And when you look at those numbers, you think, well, waiting produces a larger monthly check, but waiting also means going without those payments for several years. That's missing income that has to be, has to come from somewhere, whether it's savings or the Schwab account or the 401k. So we could potentially need to withdraw tens of thousands of dollars while waiting for that part to kick in at 70 or 67. And that creates another risk. What happens if the market falls during those first retirement years? Would we have to sell investments while they're down? We looked at how long it would take for the larger Social Security check to make up for the money we had withdrawn. And in our situation, it would take roughly 12 years beyond age 67 to make it 79 before we would even start breaking even. And we also had to consider survivor benefits. What happens if Beth survives me, and how much will she be getting? Our 7-year age difference, I'm 60, almost 65, Beth's 72. Our health, how long each of us may live, and how much reliable income we need every month. And frankly, how comfortable we are withdrawing from our investments. So our current plan is for me to start Social Security in January 2027. That would allow my Social Security, Beth's Social Security, and her pension to cover most, if not all, of our normal expenses. It should also reduce pressure on the 401k during the early years of the retirement. Did you originally think I should wait longer for the Social Security?
I did originally. Thought you would wait longer, and if anything happened to me, you'd have more monthly income.
So does having the monthly income now, though, make you feel more secure?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It certainly does.
Would you rather have the larger check later or protect the savings today?
I think to protect the savings today, because we're not ever promised the one more day.
That's a true story. So the main takeaway on this particular portion is that Social Security is not an isolated decision. It affects investments, taxes, monthly cash flow, and the surviving spouse. The largest future payment is not automatically the best overall plan, and you have to take in all the options and all the variables in your particular situation. Now, we are not tax advisors or retirement professionals, so we're not telling you what to do, but we are telling you that you need to think about all of these options before you make a decision.
We spent years concentrating on the numbers. How much income would we have? What would our expenses be? Would the 401k plan last? When should Dean claim Social Security? Could we afford to retire? We thought that once those numbers work, we would be ready.
I started thinking about what happens the morning after I retire. There'll be no work schedule, no client meetings, no projects waiting for me, no professional problems to solve. Work has provided more than income. It's also provided structure and identity and mental challenges that gave me a feeling of being useful or being piece of a bigger puzzle. Beth has already made that transition. I still have to go through it. Being home on a weekend is not the same as having no job to return to on Monday. We realized we needed to begin building a retirement life before retirement started. And I actually wrote a song about this called Who Am I Supposed to Be? And that's out on my channel for my songs. So what we're building in retirement is this is a new retired channel. I do songwriting and releasing music, as well as we create our videos together. And we're going to travel. We're going to have time with our children, our grandchildren, and projects we enjoy without turning them into another full-time job. Shared interest while we still have room for individual interests. So Beth, what was the biggest adjustment when you retired?
That feeling of, what am I going to do now?
So what do you think I'm going to miss the most about being retired or not working anymore?
The structure. I think you like the structure. Very, I think, detail-oriented in your job duties. And I think you're going to miss that.
Do you think I'll have trouble slowing down?
Yes.
How much should we plan together and how much should remain separate?
I believe that you still need to have a separation. We're not used to, although you work from home, we're not used to being together all day long. And I think that we need to have our individual interests as well as how we plan together. I think I like how that works.
So the main takeaway on this particular section is going to be being financially able to stop working does not automatically mean that you are emotionally ready to stop working. A retirement plan needs to answer two different questions. Can we afford to retire? And I think more importantly, what are we going to do when we get retired? And if you can answer both of those questions, then you're probably ready for retirement. Coming up, we're going to talk about the part of retirement planning that surprised us the most. We spent years trying to save enough money, but we never expected how difficult it might feel to actually start spending it. And stay with us until the end, because we're also going to explain why downsizing solved some of our problems, but did create a few challenges we didn't anticipate. Those may be two of the hardest parts of retirement to understand until retirement starts becoming real. Before we get into that, tell us in the comments, what are you retiring to, not just retiring from? Some possible examples might be travel, family, volunteering, creative work, part-time employment, a small business, rest, and a slower lifestyle. We're working through this transition in real time, and we're inviting you, our viewers, who are approaching retirement to subscribe and follow the journey.
Watching an account balance rise feels like progress. Watching it fall feels like something is going wrong. Our 401k is around $250,000. We also have emergency savings, a smaller Schwab investment account, a small Roth account, savings bonds. Those accounts took years to build. Once retired, every withdrawal can feel more permanent. There is no future paycheck automatically replacing the money. It becomes easy to question every expense. Can we afford this trip? Should we replace the car? Should we spend more money improving the condo? Should we wait another year? We want a strong emergency fund so we won't be forced to withdraw from the 401k during a bad market. But we don't want caution to become paralysis. We don't want to spend the healthiest part of retirement continually saying maybe next year.
The balance we're trying to find here is to cover normal expenses with predictable income, keeping enough cash for emergencies and protecting the 401k from unnecessary withdrawals, but yet still create room in the budget for travel and meaningful experiences and spending intentionally rather than recklessly or fearfully. Let's ask which is harder for us, saving the money or giving ourselves permission to spend it. In the past, we have had a finance committee meeting whenever things over $50 were going to be spent. I think that's what we're going to have to go back to.
I think so.
The finance committee being the people you see right here. What experiences do you think are worth spending money on? Cruises?
Cruises? Long weekend trip?
Is there an amount that would ever make us feel completely safe and secure?
500,000. So the whole point of our downsizing, having everything paid off, was because we didn't want to be spending the money on those things. We want to be spending things that we enjoy doing. I enjoy.
What don't we want to keep postponing?
I think traveling.
So the main takeaway for this section is retirement money has two purposes: protect your future and help you enjoy the life you have now. Focusing entirely on either one can leave you with an unbalanced retirement. And if you take our channel at what we're talking about, which is less is the new retired, then the less that you have to pay out, the more you can focus on the things you want to do with your money as opposed to the things you have to do with your money to survive.
If you've been following our channel at all, we sold our 2-story, 5-bedroom home. It was approximately 2,500 square feet and had a pool. We moved into an approximately 1,100 square foot condo in a 55 plus community. We eliminated a lot of the maintenance and the responsibility of that large home. We thought that the hardest part of downsizing decisions were behind us.
When it got real for us is when we realized that the smaller home helped make retirement more affordable, but it also changed how we live together. There is less storage, less privacy, less separation between activities, and less room for things we rarely use. Every purchase now requires a question. Where will we put it? Do we really need it? And what we'll have to leave in order to make room for whatever we've purchased. Downsizing also exposed the difference between owning less and wanting less. It made us rethink what we value and what we keep because of memories, how much space we truly need, how much time we want to spend at home, and how we maintain individual space when we're both home. So downsizing didn't solve every problem, but it did give us fewer things and less space in which to avoid the bigger questions. What do you think we miss most about the old house?
Maybe my huge kitchen, beautiful cabinets that you made for me. I really enjoyed that.
Speaking of repairs, what are we most happiest not to maintain anymore?
Pool.
The pool. In your mind, what's been the biggest adjustment to condo living?
Being cognizant of people being on the side of us and above and below us.
Now that we've lived here for a while, would we make the same move again? Yes, absolutely. Has living with less actually made life simpler? I would agree with that as well. So I think the main takeaway from this section is downsizing is not only about reducing square footage. It's about defining what enough means for the next stage of life. That is really the idea behind less is the new retired. We wanted less maintenance, less clutter, fewer unnecessary expenses, and more time and energy for what matters the most to us.
What part of retirement became real for you only after you got close to it?
I'd like to invite you to comment with the decision that you're currently struggling with regarding retirement. And I'd also like to ask you to subscribe to Less is the New Retired. It helps our channel grow and can bring more good content to you like this. And we'd like for you to watch the other videos on our channel. And if you look here, you'll see that there is an additional video there for you to watch. So thanks for spending this time with us.
We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.